This is Sustainability Unplugged, conversations on green living. Our goal is to empower sustainable choices in ourselves and everyone listening. Hello, welcome to Sustainability Unplugged. I'm Jessica.
And I'm Lynn, and we have not caught up on what we're watching and reading and listening to and all of this in a really long time.
Do you want to go first or do you want
I
me
don't know.
to? Um, I don't. Okay, I'll go first, and I don't
Okay.
think you're going to be surprised at the type of show that I'm watching.
Okay.
Um, it is called Homestead Rescue. Yeah.
Oh, was that the one that I came in the other day and I was like, "Are you watching an auction?"
Surprisingly, no. So my mom suggested this show to me. It's called Back to the Frontier. It's on HBO, and it's a reality show about three families who have to live in the Colorado wilderness like you would in the 1880s
Mhm.
specifically. And I'm not,
Jessica's time.
yeah, you know it. And there were some really good parts of it. It still is. I think all the episodes might be out now. Um,
Okay, that was which one?
Back to the Frontier.
Back to the
It's
Frontier.
actually executive produced by Chip and Joanna Gaines.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
We all know I'm not like a super reality show person. So that was probably the first bad part for me. The second one is it's a lot more focused on the family and how they work as a team, they develop over time, and less focused on how to actually do things, right? And for me, that's what I was more interested in. So I kind of quit watching it, but then algorithm was like, "You watched this, try this." And it suggested Homestead Rescue. So think bar rescue, but on a homestead level.
Okay.
So this family from Alaska, a man and his two kids, full adult male and adult female. They come and they rescue homestead people who are living basically off grid a lot of times. And just the poor decisions they're making and how they need help. So they reach out and they're like, please come help us. So it has 12 seasons. It has been going on since 2016.
And you've never heard of this?
Never. I've just recently been, more hippy dippy into the homestead lifestyle and wanting to learn more about it. So I started watching it on HBO Max. Then at the same time, I got kicked out of HBO Max. Then I realized it's on Hulu, but only the last 3 seasons are on Hulu. And so the jump from the very beginning to now, they
Mm,
currently have sponsors and
yeah.
like money behind it. Before they were like rummaging through people's homesteads to see what kind of materials they could find, and it was 100% off grid. Now they have homes that have
Now they go into the
electricity.
Container Store and
They don't do that,
supply in their barn.
but they have connections, right? So they have people who donate things and donate time. And so it's a little bit more modernized,
Okay.
I would say. It's like modern homesteads, which is what I would prefer to do. I don't want to live completely off grid, but it's teaching me different things, which I am really about. The head of the family, the guy is just wild. He's very entertaining. But for a reality show, like, I actually am very much enjoying
Hmm,
it. I still have 2 seasons until I'm all caught up, and I'm almost certain it's still going on.
interesting.
Yeah, couldn't tell you what channel it originates on, have no idea. Maybe it's HBO, maybe HBO owns the rights. Also, Hulu does. I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't dove that deep into it because I'm too busy learning about green homes and
You're
root
like, "I
cellars.
can't take my
Yeah.
eyes off the television to Google."
Yeah, so they go all over the
Interesting.
US to different homesteads, like, it's just very interesting. So, if you catch me at home at any point in time, that is what I'm watching.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I have been watching more documentaries than normal, but a variety of them. So I'm not sure if you have seen these either.
What has prompted this change? Because that's not typically what you focus on all the
Right.
time.
Well, I have to have focus to be able to do it.
True.
So yeah, I don't know.
I
I've just
I
been
th
choosing that.
I think this is very interesting.
Yesterday I watched Fit for TV, which is the Biggest Loser documentary,
Yes.
which was I don't know that it was like shocking. I don't know that I didn't know everything that went on, but it was interesting.
Yep.
Um, So and I would recommend it. Like, I mean, The Biggest Loser was a big deal
Huge.
when it was on,
Yeah.
or at least when it started. I didn't realize it had lasted as long as it did.
I mean, they lasted until they basically had a scandal and then they
Yeah,
ha
it was
like
17 seasons.
17?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
I don't think it ended until 2017. Like, I think it was, yeah, early 2000s.
Do they interview some of the Biggest Loser contestants or winners?
Yes. So
Mm.
that is mostly it is and it's a variety. It is people who won or were had a lot of drama related
Oh,
to them, and some that have, found healthy lifestyles, some that have, it's always like, can you keep it off? Um, so some that haven't been able to. Um,
interesting.
Bob is interviewed, Jillian declined.
They're the trainers. Okay.
And she's actually like I've heard, I mean, she's kind of off her
Yeah.
rocker, like in
She
general.
just recently was in the news for doing something, wasn't
A, lo-
she?
a lot of different things, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and then the doctor that was part of the
Mm,
show, he gets very emotional about it.
really?
And then the like creators, I don't know what their roles were, directors, producers, whatever, which they don't admit that it was maybe not the
Mhm.
best. The doctor has had a really hard time with it. He felt like he was doing a pretty good job, but he wasn't doing enough.
Yeah, that's gotta be
Um,
hard.
and Bob has different, like his feelings towards it are mixed, I guess. Um, being in the place that he was. But yeah, it's really interesting. I also watched Shiny Happy People's second season, which is only 3 episodes. I don't know how long the first one was,
I don't think it
actually.
was much longer
Yeah.
than that either.
Um,
I have also watched and completed that.
yeah.
Um, what did you think?
Interesting. Were you aware of it? Like,
I watched the first episode and I immediately texted my mom and said, "Mom, did I was a teenager growing up in that time frame. My background is I grew up going to church. I still
right?
go to church. Like I was involved in church and youth programs." And I was like, "Mom, why have I never heard of this?" And she's like, "I've never heard of it." We also were not evangelicals or like I mean, I grew up in a very
Yeah.
liberal church, and so maybe that's the difference, but I had never heard of it, but it was huge.
Yeah. Right. So I grew up Catholic, which is
Mhm.
completely not into singing those songs or like
Yeah,
any youth programs or anything, like, that's
it's just
just not
different.
its jam. In high school, I almost thought about reaching out to this friend. She was big into, like, youth groups and stuff. What was I can't remember the organization that was, like, in high schools. Um, their building used to be, like, right by the stadiums.
Oh, Christian the athletes, the Fellowship of Christian
Yes,
Athletes.
Fellowship of
It's
Christian
still there. The
Athletes.
building's still
Is
there.
it?
Mhm. Yeah.
Um She was, like, big involved in that and stuff, and we went to a big, like, music thing up here. I don't know where it's at, and I was like, "Oh my god, was that one of those things?"
Did you
But,
go to one
like,
of their concerts?
I yeah, but I don't remember. Like, I remember going, she invited me, so I just went, and I was just like,
Mhm.
"Okay."
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I don't know, it's unfortunate.
It's heartbreaking
Um,
for the the young adults who were involved in it.
yeah,
Absolutely. Trying to do better and realizing that they were doing some pretty crappy things to these people.
and it's so hard, like, things that use, like, Jesus as their promotional
Mhm.
material, and then
Yeah.
they treat people terribly
It's
is
interesting.
interesting.
Mhm. And you could say that. We're not gonna go there, but we could say that about a lot of
But, like,
things
the
right
physical
now.
right, but, like, they were doing, like, boot camp
Yeah.
stuff and tearing down these children.
Yeah. So the concept that it is teen media started as these like huge Christian concerts. And as they developed a bigger name and all of this stuff, they started what they considered like an academy. You would pay to go there
Like,
and be a student. You
$8,000
would raise money,
to
all of this, and then you would go. You had a job basically that you didn't get paid for. One guy worked in a call center, like calling people who had given their names at this concert.
convincing people to come join them.
Yes. but they were also like they had physical activities that were absolutely wretched. One woman they talked to, obviously these people are our age now because this was back
Mhm.
when we were teenagers. One woman said she was in a group that got woken up in the middle of the night, driven to an undisclosed location, pushed out of the van with a 6-foot wooden cross and said, "Find your way home." I was like, and they like one person said they were drove to Oklahoma and the camp was in Texas.
Yeah.
Can you like I can't even imagine driving on the highway and seeing a group of teenagers with a 6-foot wooden
Carrying a
cross.
cross.
Yeah, but like that was some of the stuff that they subjected these kids to. And the one thing that was wild to me, I expected in the end, I can't remember his name, but like kind of the face behind everything.
Mhm.
They obviously had a scandal, everything closed down, whatever. I fully expected the scandal to be that he was like siphoning money and had a giant plane and all of this stuff and only was in it for the money because you hear that a lot, right?
Mhm.
The heartbreaking part to me was he truly thought what he was doing was
Yeah.
right and in the name of his faith.
Yeah.
And that was wild to me because it was horrible, horrible stuff that was happening.
Well, but isn't that true of most cult leaders,
Yeah,
though, that they truly believe
true.
what they're doing?
I think I just was hoping that it was financial for him so that there was some sort of not necessarily redeeming quality, but there was some reason other than
Yeah.
faith behind it. And then at the end, they kind of talk about how that specific organization and the adult leaders and how they now are intertwined with other organizations around the US and
Mhm.
how that intersects with politics as well. It was very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, there is I'm almost say new podcast, although it's not new because it's been around for like 5 years, but it's called Trust Me,
Okay.
and it is about cults. So they
Oh.
were both women hosts, and they just switched networks. So that's how I have listened to like their first episode on their
Mhm.
new network. I think one that she was in it, and then one that her mom was, maybe. I don't know if I got that right. But anyways, part of what they ask after at the end of every episode is, do you think like if you were approached, would you be in that cult? Do you think you would have joined? Like, do you think that you would have like these people were around you and most of the time they're being nice to you and like you feel good and included, and which is what these teen events were, right? That everyone
Mhm.
found like a home celebrating Jesus
Yep.
with this music or whatever.
Mhm.
So,
All right.
because we would
Do you
you
want me to answer that
yeah,
question? I think I would have been very susceptible and to that type of thing. I don't think I would have made it to the point where I got to the academy. One, I was not raised in an environment where financially that was feasible.
right.
But I went to large Christian concerts. I went to large youth events. There was one held this my senior year in high school here in Kansas City with thousands of people that attended, tens of thousands of people, and I was part of the youth portion of all of that. I served on our youth cabinet for our regional denomination. Like,
Mhm.
yeah, I think I would have very soon realized that their ideas with their faith were very different than mine, but I wouldn't
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it past me to go to the concerts and to look into it.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. And back then we didn't
Take it
have the
home.
internet.
Right.
Yeah.
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 Take it to your mom, be like, Mom, I want to go to this
Yeah.
camp, this internship thing in
Mhm.
Texas.
And they did mission
They
work
did
that
mission
they
work. Yeah.
raised money for. I went on mission trips. Like I did those things. But my my denomination is very different than what they were
Yeah.
selling. So I think I eventually would have the light bulb would have turned on.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely think I'm surprised that I was not exposed to it at some point.
Right.
Like, that's very weird to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
It is.
scary.
Mm.
What about you?
I
Well,
think this particular one, I don't think would have interested me. And that
yeah.
from the like my religious background and stuff, like I said,
Is there one on the
it was not
podcast
something.
that you've listened to
So
that you were like,
I would say that
"Ooh."
in general, many cults where here's my explanation that I think that I would be very interested if someone was giving me attention and
Mhm,
like really wanting to include me in their life and like I would be into it. However, like if I was, let's say younger, because many times it's teenage years, like when you're recruited, I think that my people pleasing and
mm,
would trump the being able to go with them. So I think I
mhm,
would be into it and want to, but my parents would never have been okay with it. And I
sure,
would say even through my 20s where I'd be like,
yeah,
"Oh, like I don't think this would make them proud."
yeah,
Where I think that's what would stop.
interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I think everybody is susceptible to it at some time because everybody needs something as a
Right.
human, and that's what they go at,
Yeah.
is your need for socialization or to feel accepted or to,
They
you
tell you
know
you're pretty and you're like,
yeah, yeah.
let's be best friends.
I think all of those things that happened when we were younger, because that was there were some weird ass cult things happening when we were younger and then generations past because, the
Oh
internet,
yeah, the
whatnot.
70s.
Yeah. I think I'm probably a lot more weary of people now because of some of the documentaries that
Yeah.
I've
Well, that's what I
watched.
was thinking. I was like, man, it's like now that we have the internet, we're exposed to all this. Like,
Mhm.
surely cults are decreasing. I think they are more hidden. Like, I think that you're like, oh, yeah, I definitely wouldn't go out and live in the desert with this group of people. That's not what cults look like today.
Yeah. They
They're,
evolve just like any
they're
other scammer.
organizations that are living in plain sight.
Yeah.
So,
It's weird. So everybody go watch it. It's
yeah.
interesting.
And season one is of the church that it's mostly about the Duggars.
But it's based in, like, their faith as well too. Interesting. Do we have a line on season 3 yet?
No.
Okay. I hope they do another one because 'cause they're very interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm super
Shiny, happy
excited.
people.
Yeah, I think they do a really good job. I like how they put it together, how they
Mhm.
interview the people and
Yeah.
tell the story.
Okay. So let's talk about some events that we like to, just promote and let you guys know that are going on. So this weekend is the Go Green Environmental Fair. It's held in Mission, Kansas. We will be there. We're excited. We will be participants going to see the vendors, and I'm really interested to go to some of their, like, little workshop
Oh,
talks.
yeah?
This year we missed them.
Right.
We were less prepared last year.
Well,
So,
yeah, we didn't think that walking around talking to all the vendors was gonna take as long as it did,
yeah,
which now that we know, a lot more people probably
we will be
I
the
don't know,
first
like, I don't know if that's what we need to
we'll be the first people in line when the doors open.
do. Yeah.
So yes, that is this weekend. And then also we wanna mention one of the organizations that we have actually, had on the podcast before. We've interviewed with them, Reuseful.
We
Um
haven't interviewed them.
They
They
have
have
interviewed
interviewed us.
us, yeah. We have interviewed with them. So they always have events going on, things like, repair cafes, on dumpster days. So check out their website. I actually recently did one of their Wednesday webinars, which was what they interviewed
Yeah.
us on in season 1. It was about gardening and canning.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that and I'll get your thoughts. So definitely check out their website because 'cause they've always got something going on and it's always cool stuff. And then lastly, just a reminder that October is Energy Awareness Month. We talked about the energy grid and how daunting it can be on our last episode. So think about energy you use, like leaving lights on when you're not in the room. Utilize the fall weather for keeping your house comfortable at a comfortable temperature. And a reminder to do your energy audit of your home
If you haven't already.
if you haven't already. Yes. So just a few things, reminders, few events to check out. Yeah. Anything to add? I think that's everything.
That is everything.
Awesome. So this week we're going to talk about a topic that we have discussed a lot. It kind of was born out of a conundrum that you currently have, which is you get an extraordinary amount of calls from solar companies
Mhm.
asking if you would like to install solar on your roof. There's problems there. One, you have several large trees. We've talked about all the leaves in your yard. You also live in what's considered Tree City, USA, which is
Yes.
they are very pro. tree cover and things like that. But you're also researching so much about renewable energy sources, and it kind of gets you in this like stuck location.
Mhm.
So we're going to talk about tree cover and why, like what that means and why it's good.
Yeah.
Yes.
So maybe I can feel better about
All the leaves?
no, just where I'm at, like why I have to tell them no and
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
that this is yeah. Um all right. So it's been a while since I've started with a lot of raw data in an episode. So we are gonna start there.
Okay.
And these stats came from the EPA's climate change indicators page.
Okay.
Since 1901, the average surface temperature across the contiguous 48 states has risen at an average rate of 0.17 Fahrenheit per decade. Average temperatures have risen more quickly since the late 1970s, with 9 of the 10 hottest years occurring after 1998.
Ooh.
And that might actually be 10 out of 10 because 2024 was actually the hottest and this was like taken in 2023. So
Okay.
I think that should be updated. Some parts of the US have experienced more warming than others. The North, the West, and Alaska have seen the temperatures increase the most.
Oh,
Seasonally, winter has increased by 3 degrees Fahrenheit, spring by 2 degrees, and summer and fall by 1.6.
interesting. Those are really interesting numbers.
Warmer winters would mean a decrease in snow
Mhm.
and shorter ice seasons. So when you think of winter increasing by 3 degrees, like the most is because we don't have the ground cover. A warmer spring, summer, and fall does mean longer growing seasons, which could be a positive. However, it leads to that longer and more intense pollen season for us
Oh,
allergy
womp
sufferers. If you've
womp.
noticed that getting worse.
Yeah. But also places that have snow cover and different things like that, mountainous regions and things like that, they rely on that snow melt for certain things like vegetation, like
Right.
growing seasons and things like that. So it all is interconnected, right?
Yes, there was a lot. I actually cut out like a huge paragraph in this place because I was just going on and on about like
Mm.
what all this meant.
Yeah.
So there is a lot more online, but yeah, so like if you think of snow and ice, it melts, then it creates water, it's watering your plants, but and it's keeping it cooler, right? So there are so many like downstream effects of the temperature getting warmer.
Yes. Okay.
While the US has experienced many winters with unusually low temperatures, unusually cold winter temperatures have become less common. So that's sometimes where people will say when it's 5 degrees outside, they're like, oh, global warming, whatever. So it's still getting cold,
Correct.
but the number of days that it gets that cold are less than they used to be.
That's a very interesting point.
A persistent period of unusually hot days is referred to as an extreme heat event or a heat wave. Heat waves have increased from an average of 2 heat waves per year during the 1960s to 6 per year during the 2010s and 2020s. So it's
Wow.
tripled in 50 years.
That is not good for
Right.
anyone, for the earth or for me personally, because I don't like hot weather.
In recent years, the average heat wave in major US urban areas has been about 4 days long, which is a day longer than in the 60s. So,
So
more heat waves and longer heat waves.
just keeps getting worse.
The heat wave season is now 46 days longer, and it is 2.5 degrees Fahrenheit above the local threshold versus 2 degrees Fahrenheit in the 1960s. So local threshold is like a heat wave here is not the same as a heat wave in Minnesota
Uh-huh.
because we are naturally warmer here than they are in Minnesota.
So that's what that threshold
Right.
is. Okay.
So we're just saying like so here's the average temperature for July 10th,
Mhm.
and in Minnesota on July 10th it's this temperature and
Yeah.
it's more than 2.5 degrees over that.
That's not good.
Yeah. As cities develop, vegetation is often lost and more surfaces are paved or covered with buildings. This type of development can lead to higher temperatures, part of an effect called an urban heat island. Heat islands occur when a developed area experiences higher temperature than nearby rural areas and when areas experience hotter temperatures within a city.
And you see this if you live around a major city and you watch the news and you see like their graph that or their graphic that has all the temperatures, like the highs for the day or the current temperatures, I can almost guarantee you that every single time like the downtown ish area is always hotter than 30 miles outside of the
Mhm.
city in a rural area.
Yeah.
It's very obvious.
Daytime temperatures in urban areas are about 1 to 7 degrees higher than temperatures in outlying areas, and nighttime temperatures are 2 to 5 degrees higher.
And that has to do with the fact that like that heat is held in on things like the cement and all of that stuff,
Well,
right?
so
And
there's one is those things are attracting the sun,
okay,
right?
yeah.
So dark attracts the sun,
Uh-huh.
it is not reflected. And so
Okay.
it attracts it and absorbs it.
Yeah.
So concrete, asphalt, these
Mhm.
buildings that look this like the tops of the buildings are the
Yeah.
same. So that attracts it and it holds it in.
And then overnight when the temperatures may drop, that asphalt still can, like, let out some of that heat, like, leading to the temperatures being higher in those more
Yep.
urban areas.
New York City specifically is 7 to 8 degrees hotter than once you get out of the city.
Ooh, and I don't know about you, but 7 to 8 degrees
That's
can
a
that
lot.
can do a lot to
Well,
me.
you think that's 80 to 88, right?
That's a huge difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, thank you.
There are several solutions to what can be done, but what seems like the best, because of other benefits it provides, is to increase trees and vegetation. So that's what we're talking about
Okay.
today. So, what is so great about trees?
Everything.
So, this section came from a website called canopy.org, which is a Bay Area nonprofit with a mission to collaborate with communities to grow and sustain equitable urban forests for all.
Okay.
If you remember from third grade science class,
Please give me a refresher
yeah,
because I don't remember.
there was a tree and then there was like arrows with a circle around the tree,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
And you can also find this online in like National Geographic Kids. There's a great graphic. Trees pull in CO2 from the atmosphere. They photosynthesize it,
Okay, yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
which means that they are storing the carbon and return the oxygen back to us
'Cause they're
to
awesome.
breathe. All right.
Mhm.
So we know that CO2 it lives in the atmosphere and it is necessary. Like I'm breathing it out right now.
Yeah.
Um, but too much of it is warming. And so we need the trees and other anything with leaves, right? Anything green is doing the same thing, but trees are so large that they
Yeah.
do more. And they're also able to store more carbon.
Okay.
So they are great for air quality. They act as natural air conditioners. So the evaporation from a single tree can produce the cooling effect of 10 room size residential air conditioners operating 20 hours a day.
Wow, they're working hard.
Yes. And they
That's
don't
a
even
lot,
look like it.
right?
They're not
They're
even
just out here
sweating.
looking pretty.
I mean, they are sweating, not sweating.
Right? But that's what, like, one tree can do all
Yeah.
of that? That's
One tree
huge.
equals 20 hours of air conditioning.
I'm here for it.
10 air conditioners operating all day. Sorry.
That's a lot.
10 air conditioners. They can also act as windbreaks, which is helpful in the
Mhm.
winter,
Yeah.
and then they provide shade to cool us in the summer.
They do a lot, like, year round. Every day, all day.
Yes.
Yeah.
They capture and slow rainfall, and their roots filter water. They reduce stormwater runoff, which reduces flooding
Yes.
and saves city stormwater management costs and decreases the flow of polluted water. So they're doing water management as well.
Yeah. They're like a whole
They
city
all
department.
right, the way that it was described on this website was that they were providing, like, city services, right? And
It
it
sounds
was,
like
like,
it.
it's so weird to say, but I guess it's true, like,
Yeah.
they're here just
But then
working for
you just,
you.
like, look at them out there in the window and you're like, "This is like, they're just pretty." Like, you can do all of
Yeah,
this and just still look great.
yep.
I'm impressed.
What if I also told you that research shows that urban landscaping reduces crime rates
Really?
because it just makes people happy?
I mean, I just said it, like, they just
Yeah.
look pretty.
Slows heartbeats,
Nature.
lowers blood pressure, helps with stress relief. There was actually like research from schools where the windows face to trees and
Mhm.
students could recover from stressful events faster.
Like geometry class.
Yeah.
Yeah. I probably would've gotten a better grade if there were trees outside my window.
And it increases home values
Absolutely. I could see that.
at least 25%.
Yeah.
They are also the homes of many little critters, which I actually hate.
Yeah, that's your one downside. Yeah, there's lots of things going on within those trees. Yeah.
Although I watched the other day, I am very close to my bird watching era. I'm not there yet, but this was a stuff like I'm close. I'm
Mhm.
almost there, but a big bird like swooped. I just saw it and it swooped and it landed on a branch in my neighbor's yard. I was just sitting there. There was this other big bird that was flying around and it was scared. The one on the branch was scared of the other one and it kept like ducking. I
And you
wish
just
that
are
I
watching
could have
this.
got it on video, but, it was just I was like, "What is happening?"
Nature at work.
Like, are they, like, playing hide and seek, or are they actually enemies, or,
Or is
like,
one trying to,
what?
like,
Or
become, like, boyfriend, girlfriend with the other one,
right.
and they don't want to be? There's a lot that been going on here.
Yes.
There's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know, eventually, the one flying around flew off, and then the other one could leave.
Remember
Stun
when we
eye.
talked about nature cameras for solely for your trash can? I think you need bird cameras too. I am here for
Yeah.
this.
So, I we got my dad a smart bird feeder,
What
like,
is a
2 Chris.
smart bird
Well,
feeder?
it has a video on
Oh,
it, and so it when a bird lands, it snaps a picture of it, and it will identify it. Yeah.
so you're saying you would like to get one of
I'm not there
those?
yet. He is
Eh,
20 years older
well,
than me, and that's where he's at in his journey. I'm not there yet.
kinda want one of these bird things.
He sends
So
me the pictures of the pretty ones.
and he told you what they are?
No,
Do
it
you
doesn't say anything. This is I mean, that's how my
yeah,
dad, like, texts. He just, like, sends me a picture of something.
yeah.
So, um,
You have
yeah.
so many trees in your yard, you could be doing this
Ugh,
bird feeder thing.
yeah. Yeah, sure. Alright. Bottom line
Okay.
on trees, neighborhoods well shaded with street trees can be up to 6 to 10 degrees cooler than neighborhoods without, reducing overall energy needs. 3 trees properly placed around a house can save up to 30% of energy use.
Because your house isn't getting like, let's say it's summertime. Your house isn't getting as hot from the direct sun, so your heating and cooling system is not having to work as hard and all of those things. And you're just doing that for free. These trees are just no cost to you.
Well, you usually have to buy them to plant them.
Well, okay, let's pretend like they're
But
already there.
but yeah, like, when they're there.
Yeah.
But when you buy the house, you're paying, like, 25% extra for the trees that are there.
Ooh, yeah, it all
Like,
equals out.
it does cost you,
Yeah.
but, they're really good for
Let's just roll all that into my mortgage, okay? Let's roll those trees into my mortgage.
Um, and then this was on their website. I just felt like it was really important to say. As the conservation nonprofit American Forests reminds us, Healthy forests are our most efficient, inexpensive, and natural systems to combat climate change.
I fully agree with that statement. It's huge.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's important.
Very important.
So, some local stats about where we're at on tree
Mhm.
cover.
In Kansas City?
Yeah,
I don't know that I'm gonna like
it's
this.
actually, you are going to be pleased.
Okay,
It is better than I thought it was.
okay.
Which, because I'd recently seen something like before I started researching that I was like, oh, they kind of have an initiative. The urban tree canopy in the Kansas City metro is about 28.3%, though the city of Kansas City, Missouri canopy cover is around 31%. So it's 3% higher than the metro. So, like,
Mhm.
Kansas City proper is 3% higher than the metro
Okay.
in total. And Kansas City, the city, has a goal of increasing its canopy to 35%.
I think that's amazing.
This would achieve climate resiliency, and they have launched initiatives like Canopy Cover KC to plant thousands of new trees. An article on Bridging the Gap's website shows that they are looking at heat maps and current tree cover to figure out where trees are needed most and then going into those neighborhoods. They were awarded a $12 million grant in 2023 to help with this project to plant 10,000 trees by 2026.
That's huge. And, just a side note, Bridging the Gap, they're a great
They
organization.
are wonderful.
They're the people who stumped us on all the tree questions at the environmental fair. They know a lot about
Was it
trees.
Earth Day
Earth Day, it was
at
Earth Day.
Casual Animal?
Yeah,
Yeah, their tree questions were hard.
yeah. So they clearly know a lot about trees, and they're just a great organization. Those are
Yeah,
some lofty goals, but I love them.
yeah. And then, as mentioned in your intro, I live in a tree city, which is an Arbor Day Foundation designation. And to be named a tree city, you have to do 4 things. 1, have a tree board or foundation, which I'm a part of. 2, tree care ordinance, which I've received a notice because of.
So that means, like, getting rid of dead or
Right, like,
hazardous trees in some way.
dead or damaged trees have to
Yeah,
be removed from your yard that cost
okay.
thousands and thousands of
You're
dollars.
just, like, fully living this Tree City
I
USA.
guess.
Have you had an encounter with the last 2 requirements?
So the community forestry program budget, meaning they, like, have to spend money on trees. I'm not sure how, I mean, I know that the commission, like, I know that Parks and Rec, like, plants trees, but then also they have a tree drive. The last 2 years, they have hosted a tree drive.
So that would be, like, giving out trees to the community to
So
plant.
they work with Bridging the Gap, and we pay money for the trees.
Okay,
Um, and then 4, they must have an Arbor Day observance.
okay.
So yeah, so that's
Go Mission
how
Kansas.
to be, yeah, how to be a tree city and why there's a lot of tree cover. And it's just, what are your thoughts on tree cover? And, like, you like trees, but you don't want to own them.
So when I bought my house, there was 1 tree physically on my property that I am responsible for. It is in my backyard, in the corner of my backyard. I live in an older neighborhood that does have a lot of tree cover. Like, you drive down the street to my house and it is shaded almost the entire way until you get right to my house. And then there's this big block of sun. We've talked about this before. I have solar on my house. My house was one when I bought my home, I did not say, "This is a great home to put solar on the roof," or, "This is a great home because it has no trees."
Trees did not factor into your
Correct.
consideration at all.
Absolutely, they did not. I've learned a lot more about it, specifically being friends with you, because your home and your city is very different,
Mhm.
set up very differently than mine. We talk about the leaves and all of that stuff, right? I live in Kansas City, Missouri proper, so they're trying to do things, which I think is great.
So what if they stop by? They've been analyzing the maps, all right, and they realize that this block right here
Needed more trees.
needs some more trees.
Okay.
And they're like, we're gonna plant, we would like to plant 2 in your front yard or whatever.
I would say no. I would say, "This is my property, you cannot plant those trees in there." Multiple reasons. I'm fully understanding of and respectful of all of the information that you just provided and that what trees do. They're kinda awesome, right? I have spent a lot of money to have solar on my home, and planting 2 trees in my front yard would completely erase any of that effort, so that would be really hard.
Well, but the trees start small.
Correct, but eventually it will become someone's but my solar panels are gonna be on my house for decades, and those trees eventually will block that out. Um, currently in the backyard, there are trees that I do not own that are starting to do that. They're starting to become a problem for my solar, but I do not own them, so I can't do anything about them. I would say no. My personal opinion is that I have chosen something on my home. I don't wanna take away from what its value is, even if it's not adding to the value of tree cover. Now knowing the information that you have provided and knowing how awesome trees are and what all they do, I think I would try to help, volunteer, get involved in other aspects of it, like Kansas City's initiative with Bridging the Gap and becoming involved in those types of things as an overall aspect of trying to, you know, defeat climate change. I just simply can't do it in my front yard
Yeah.
for multiple reasons. Also, I don't wanna pick up all the leaves. No, just kidding.
What if you were moving
Okay. And, like, trees in my front yard or when I'm buying a new home?
when you're buying a new home?
If it was, like, super tree covered like yours, I would be perfectly happy with that. I would still install solar on my property, but I wouldn't do it on my roof. I would do it somewhere else where there isn't trees.
Yeah.
I would make a different decision based on what that property looked like. Like, my house was perfect for solar when I bought it because I don't have anything blocking the sun from my home. I mean, my goal we've talked about this, my goal is to live on property, like land,
Yeah.
acreage, and so I would put it somewhere else where there is an open area, like where my garden would need to be because you need full sun for a great garden, right? So I would just make a different decision, but
Yeah.
bottom line is I would tell them, "I don't want any trees on my property." Like, they always are giving away starter trees at some of the events that we go to, and it's not for me.
Yeah.
And whether or not I made the right choice on putting solar on my house versus having tree cover, that's up for a debate, right? But I am where I am. So,
Well, yeah,
yeah.
but I'm just like, for people, like, realizing that the tree cover is actually more important than personal solar.
Mhm.
Like, I'm not like, solar is great, but there are so many options for panels to be put up that make so much more sense than, like, taking up space where there could be tree cover, right? Like,
Like on
they
a roof
right,
versus a
over
tree
a
cover.
parking lot,
Yeah.
on tops of buildings, like,
Yeah.
all of these different places where they there will never be tree cover,
Yeah.
right? Instead of these places where it can decrease your energy requirements by 30%.
That's
That
huge.
is huge,
Yeah.
right? And I just think, like, for people making the decision, like, thinking about it like this, just I mean, if I ever answer a spam solar call again, I mean, I can go off and tell
Yeah.
them about, all these things.
Sure.
Um, so yeah, I don't know. Like,
I
I think just as an overall, like, I think people wanna be better, and maybe they think that solar is the option instead
Mhm.
of trees because that's what's being pushed,
Sure.
instead of, like, realizing that trees are actually, like, the best solution.
Yeah, I think trees are a great solution, and I think as technology and information and science and all of that grows and progresses and we learn more, there's definitely different options. So in our last episode, we talked about the energy grid and we talked about where energy comes from in our different states. For instance, Kansas has a lot of that comes from wind. In Missouri, a lot of it comes from coal. When I made the decision to have solar on my home, again, I had a perfect home for solar, but also where my energy coming from still currently to this day, that was part of why I made the decision. I wanted cleaner energy personally for my home and all of those things. Do I have a fully sustainable grid? No. Am I still attached to the grid and get energy from Evergy? Yes, I do. But for me, that was what was most important. Now knowing like tree cover or just, in general, all the things that we've learned doing this podcast, I would probably make decisions in a different way in the future, but I don't regret putting solar on my house. I think if I move, I will probably put solar in a different place, in a different way, just knowing all of the things, especially the things that you have put forth with tree cover, because it is important. I mean, I can't change I can't change where I'm at now, but I can definitely do better going forward, like make decisions based on the information that we've gathered in our lives and especially with this podcast. So, I mean, trees are awesome. That's a clear and evident thing, minus fall when you have to pick up all the leaves. But if you pick up the leaves, you might leave the leaves. But yeah, I think it's a valid point that solar can be done differently than just on people's rooftops when there is a much different, viable, and quite possibly better option with tree cover. Absolutely. We'll just keep going forward and start putting it on parking lot tops and, things like that. How do you feel? Okay, so how do you feel about like sky rises, putting them on the top of theirs? Because they can't have trees. Like it would be okay to do
Yeah,
that.
on
Yeah.
tops of so there is a lot of, like, depending on the top of what kind of top of building it
Yeah,
is,
it's
I
a weird
guess.
thing.
So, let's say it's a six-story apartment building,
Yeah.
right? You could put vegetation and like, you could
Abs-
actually have green space up
that
there.
would be
And
amazing.
you look at, like, a lot of big cities that are doing really well with green
Hmm.
space is they utilize buildings, right? You can
Yeah.
see, like, apartment balconies that have plants hanging off of them,
Yes.
and maybe they have some on the top. I think it would depend on what the top of the building looks like.
Yeah.
If you can't put green up there, can you install some panels,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
Or do something that is reflective as well. So
Yes.
they also talk about like making things a different color. So like don't make something black. There
Hmm.
is like roads and things might be a gray reflective
Okay.
surface so that it's not attracting the
Hmm.
sun.
Yeah.
Um
I mentioned this, I think, in our first episode this season. I had traveled to Alaska by way of Vancouver, Canada. And one of the biggest things that I realized, like noticed in Vancouver is that here in Kansas City, the trees pop out from the skyscrapers, the high rise, the buildings and whatnot. In Vancouver, the buildings pop out from the trees. The amount of trees that they have in that city is amazing. And it also creates this beautiful skyline. I've also never seen so many living walls in my
mhm.
life. I think we're on like the ninth floor of the hotel, and you would look out and you would see all of those green roofs, like just natural vegetation. None of them were like gardens or anything like that. They were just these giant plots, what looked like plots of land that were really rooftops that just had all of this green stuff on them.
Yeah,
It's not only, like you said, is it not only doing all of this great stuff, it's beautiful.
right.
It's absolutely beautiful. I
Yeah.
want one of those like green roofs that they have, that like just, grows stuff all the time.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. Yeah, I think that you've given me a lot to think about for sure. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So, we're ready for our next green thing.
Okay.
And it's really easy. You just have to browse the Arbor Day Foundation website
Oop.
and see what the best fit is for you to get involved. They have a planting partner program, which is working within your own community, and lots of different options for what that entails. You could donate money or research the best trees to plant in your own yard.
Okay.
Every area is needed. Like whichever route you choose, it's needed. I had been seeing an ad on online to get 10 free trees for donating at least $25, which I almost did, except I don't need 10
10
new
trees.
trees, and 5 of them were, like, pine trees, and I was like, "No." I didn't see that, I couldn't find that now, so I don't know if that ended, but
Mhm.
yeah, just go plant a tree.
Go plant a tree. I think that's great advice. Thank you. Like I said, this is all really, really good information, giving me a lot to think about. And I hope it gives everybody else a lot to think about the next time you go out and just stare at the trees. All the things
Yeah.
that they're doing for us, just hanging out, being pretty.
Yep.
Yeah, it's good. So
I guess
thank
I'll
you.
yell at them less, maybe.
Maybe, maybe. We'll report back on that one. Okay, so thank you. I appreciate all of this. It was awesome. To everybody out there listening, we love trees. We also love when you comment on our socials. We're on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. We love likes, shares, all of that stuff. We just want to get all of this really good information out to people. We want to share all the things that we're talking about because it's important not only to us, but to everyone else out there who lives on this tree covered earth that we share. So find us on the socials, share, like, comment, all of the things, and we will see you on the next episode.
Bye.